This past weekend, I spent 42 and a half hours trying to beat Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now, you're probably wondering, why did I do that? Well, there was a multitude of reasons. One, I never got to play them when they came out, such as, Ever Crisis, or Crisis Core Remake. What's the other one that just came out this year? Rebirth. Didn't get to play those on release. Also, back in 2020, when Final Fantasy VII Remake first released, that was the same year that Doom Eternal released. For me, it was kind of like very controversial. So, for context, I didn't know that Doom Eternal used almost basically the same soundtrack as 2016 Doom. It was a little weird. I tried to search up, and every time I search up, it's always like Doom, but not Doom Eternal. And everybody refers to 2016 Doom having the best soundtrack, and I'm like, Doom Eternal smacks. Like, it was weird, but I remember that year I didn't know that, so I thought that it was gonna win at least like best like soundtrack of the year at the Game Awards, and it kind of surprised me when Final Fantasy VII Remake actually won best soundtrack that year. I ain't gonna lie, I was a little salty. I was a little biased, but wrongfully so. I was biased. Honestly, I had to go find out why it won best soundtrack of the year. And I'm not gonna lie, majority of the time while I was playing, the soundtrack was there, but it just there wasn't that like couple of songs that I was like, wow, this is just a straight banger. I will say though, there was that one song in the main menu, obviously, the classic one, but there is that one song at the end when you're fighting Sephiroth. That, bro, it slaps. I will add that to my playlist, bro. That thing is a banger. But honestly, I don't know if it was just because I was so, like, invested in the story and the characters themselves. I just didn't notice the music through dialogue, roaming, and in combat. I don't know what was up with me. I just didn't notice it that much. Another thing I want to talk about, it's just the characters, bro. Like, it has such a likable cast of characters. Essentially, I went into this just blind, right? I know who Cloud was. I know who Tifa, Aerith, Sephiroth. I know who Zack, Reno. Like, I've known these people from the OG. I didn't know how the remake was. I didn't know what was changed, what wasn't. I didn't know, like, what was being done with them. So, I'm basically going into this blind. At first, you're introduced to Avalanche and stuff like that. Barrett's there. Cloud is the character you play as. And, man, I'm not going to hold you. Like, if I'm, like, first experience, like, going into this, I'm thinking, damn, Cloud's kind of like an asshole. The way he just talks to them, like, I don't know. I don't know. It's just the undertone of how he speaks. It's not polite. It's not nice. But then when he sees Tifa, oh man, this guy is like all manners. This guy is doing his little on the bar counter, waiting for a drink. Oh man, it was just so crazy to see that, like, in HD, updated 2020 graphics. I will say though, was kind of like abrasive, I should say. I think that's the correct term to use. He was very like abrasive. So at first, I didn't like him, and I wouldn't say didn't like him, but it was more like, damn, like, what's up with him? Like, why is he so, like, pumped up? But then I got to know his story and why he wanted to do it, and I was like, you know what? Pretty noble, but still, like, the energy is just crazy. And then we get to Sector 7 slums, and I see his relationship with his daughter, and I'm like, yeah, this guy, I love this guy now. Because, bro, like, Marlene is just adorable. Like, oh, my God. Anytime she talks, I'm like, aw. Like, it's just, you can't hate it. And the father-daughter relationship they got, I like it. It's amazing. I'm a little envious. I wish I had that relationship with my dad, but me not being a girl, though, you know what I mean? There's more to it, but I don't want to say too much to spoil it in a way where maybe you guys would want to play it. I'm just kind of speaking from my own experience and why I like the game in some parts. Let's go to Tifa, right? I'm not gonna lie, Tifa is cool. I think she was my favorite person to, like, fight with in the combat sequences. Bro, I love the way she fights. It's amazing. Her little, like, fist-to-fist combat. It was kind of like a boxer mixed with, like, kickboxing. It was really fun. I enjoyed it so much. But man, Tifa is just, she is beautiful, man. I can see why people, like, I guess you could say, fascinate over her. I could see why. But here's my hot take. As beautiful as she is not Aerith. There's just, I don't know, man. Maybe I got snow bunnied yet once again in another game, but Aerith is like bro, she is just I don't have another word to describe it. She is just angelic. Like when they had those, like, I wouldn't say still shots, but more of a like a POV shot from, like, let's say Cloud's like eyes and stuff like that, like in the beginning when she was giving the flower to him, or let's say it was like a cinematic, bro. Every time the camera was just centered onto her head and she took up the whole screen, it was, bro, it was just so beautiful. Like, you can't hate her. She is so positive, and she's actually so nice and goes out of her way as a flower girl to help people and combat like the bad guys for you. Amazing. I also loved her play style too. It's not often that I play, I guess you could say, casters or mages, but it was fun using her like group healing ability to help, because man, I needed that so many more times than I can count. It was actually pretty insane. But man, oh man, every time Aerith was on my screen in a cutscene, it was just, I felt euphoric. I felt like I was in the Garden of Eden itself watching her. But let me stop glazing, all right? I'm going to move on to the more important things, right? So I'm going to talk about my two favorite people in the Final Fantasy VII series. Zack Fair and Reno. My boy Reno, bro, still an asshole to this day. I can't really give him his pointers. Listen, I still fuck with him, bro. He is drippy. You know, I might not like that he works with Pitbull himself. That's my boy. I love his looks. He just looks so cool to me. I don't know what it was. But also, my boy Zack Fair. I didn't know if I was going to be able to see him in this game or not, but I'm actually happy that I did. Because seeing my boy Zack in the flesh, bro, it was like seeing your best friend of like 10 years that you haven't seen in a while, bro. It just, I felt like going through the screen and dapping him up, bro. Like, that's really the homie right there. And it makes it even better, too, because I like Aerith. Like, that's my choice. My waifu. So it makes it even better that Zack is, like, I'd say my favorite character, honestly. I'd say Zack is my favorite character. So just the fact that it just works out. And, like, there is no other way to explain it. It works out. There is also characters that I don't remember that I think I should bring up, such as Mr. Silk Press, a.k.a. Hair Done, Hair Laid. Because this guy, I mean, bro, this guy, no matter the situation, his hair is always on fleek. It looks like he puts something in it. Like, he takes care of his hair. This man is on top of it, bro. I wish I had hair like that. Like, do you see what it looks like? Look at this. And the thing is, too, like, what is his skincare routine? Because there was a cutscene with him visiting Aerith when she was a child, and then he looks the exact same in the current timeline with, like, literally in these cutscenes with Cloud and stuff. It makes zero sense. And apparently he's only like 30 something. So what, was he like 16 when he joined the Turks and worked for Shinra, like trying to get Aerith? Like, that's kind of crazy. That was pretty cool. You know, Sephiroth, everybody knows. Well, everybody should know who Sephiroth is if you at least know of Final Fantasy. It was kind of weird. I didn't like how they kind of brought him into the storyline. You know, like, let's just assume that Final Fantasy VII is my first Final Fantasy game, right? Of course, you're getting these little visions of Sephiroth, and you're like, he must be important. But you don't really get to see why he's important. He just seems to be this reoccurring figure that Cloud knows of, and they do a little flashback of like a burning village that Cloud grew up in. Apparently, they're saying how Sephiroth was the one that did it. Okay, but like, let's actually go through like a flashback scenario that we play through as Cloud, because obviously, you know, Sephiroth is like, I don't know, like 10 years older or some shit like that. He's pretty fucking old. But let's actually like see it, you know? Let's actually see it so we can at least feel the emotions that Cloud is feeling, or at least imitate a portion of it. I don't know. I didn't really like how they introduced Sephiroth, but the Sephiroth fight itself was pretty fucking cool. I actually really loved it. It was hard. I'm not gonna lie, it was hard. I think I restarted like twice, but it was hard. Other than that, I mean, that game was a lot longer than I thought it was gonna be. Like, I knew like the OG had a couple game discs, but man, that was actually like a really long game. And I'm not gonna lie, I wish it was longer, but there was certain chapters, like let's say going through you know, the Shinra headquarters and stuff like that. I didn't listen, I didn't care about that stuff. But like when we had our own like personal scenes, when we were like the Sector 7 slums, when we were at the entertainment district, like that was all cool. Like that was vibes. I'm gonna be honest, I could have spent like 8 chapters there and I wouldn't even have noticed because I was having so much fun. Other than that, I mean, there were some cool characters that I could point out. Like I think it was Leslie, the guy with the baseball cap and the gray hair that's in Don Corneo's thing. Jessie, but I feel like she's just a little too flirtatious. All right, a little too flirtatious. But Biggs and Wedge, bro, those are my homies. Like those are my day ones right there. I was so happy when I saw that they didn't die. Well, spoilers now, but they didn't die. Oh man, it made me so happy. I was so glad that I saw them at least live. You know, I don't know if I don't remember seeing a cutscene because I gave myself a day to like suck all this information in, pause. I gave myself to at least like digest this experience that I had with the first Final Fantasy remake game, so I enjoyed it so much. I actually ended up playing the Intermission DLC with Yuffie because she's my other favorite character. I fuck with her personality so heavy. She is such like, I guess you could say, a playful and good-spirited person. Like just the opening scene with her, like her introduction is so good. Like she's just so joking. Like she just jokes around. It's just good vibes. I always like people that knows like when to joke and when not to joke. And also, bro, her combat is so cool. Like that was one of my favorite parts of the DLC. Like her combat was so satisfying to use. And also that guy Sonon, whatever his name was, he was pretty cool. His backstory was sad too. Spoilers, he died. That was pretty sad. And bro, the scene that leads after that when Yuffie was crying running out of the Shinra headquarters, man, that hurt me a little. I'm not gonna lie, that actually hit me a little. I don't want to see my homegirl cry like that, you know, because that's gonna make me feel some type of way. I enjoyed it. Hopefully the next game, the next game I'm gonna play is the prequel, which is what, Crisis Core. So in Rebirth, I think they do meet, if I'm not mistaken. So I can't wait to have her in my party for that. Other than that, I mean, I'm kind of going back and forth between Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts. Just to help myself, you know, that I'm not getting too burnt out with the same characters and same, like, I guess you could say, story. So I'm kind of doing what I did was I beat Kingdom Hearts 1. I went to Final Fantasy 7 Remake. I'm going to go to Kingdom Hearts 2 now, and then I'm going to play Crisis Core, Kingdom Hearts 3, Rebirth. That's my plan for the games. And then hopefully, you know, I get all that done in time so I can play Kingdom Hearts 4. And then whenever they drop the next Final Fantasy 7 in like another, what, year and a half, 2 years. After that, I'm planning on getting into the Persona series. I mentioned that a while ago. I just didn't start it. And then I got to go through the rest of the Metal Gear games because I finished 1. I love that game. And I just did not get to Metal Gear 2. And I really want to get to Snake Eater. So, yeah, that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think about the Final Fantasy VII Remake game, the first one. Let me know what you think going into Crisis Core or going into Rebirth. Let me know what your experience was. But other than that, like, comment, subscribe. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.